8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop! Woohoo!
Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. A happy Monday to everyone out there. We do not get to talk about Husker football, but there's plenty of other great games this week. And as we get closer to it, we will continue to dive into Husker football as they're going to get ready to take on a Indiana team. But there was a lot of great games this weekend across the NFL. We bring in DPE, the former Husker himself, and I'll be honest, there's so many games, morning Pierson-El, NFL or college football. I'll kind of let you decide which one you want to dive into first, because obviously there was
which one you want to dive into first.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious,
Still,
right?
so, I don't care.
I mean, they're 4-2. That's a big deal.
Who have you played? Who have you played?
Well, they're gonna have the Commanders. They've played bad teams, all right. But in years past, they have been able to beat those quote unquote bad teams. And to blow those teams out is that they're doing what they need to. But yeah, I mean, with the Chicago Bears, we are going to find out with the Commanders. Again, that's not a world beater team, but there's going to be good talent.
Yes, it's a good test. Y'all are playing. This last game was probably, they're all like most complete.
Yeah, well, through 4 quarters, it looked like a complete game from them. First time we had with the Panthers, you saw that too, with a couple lapses in the defense, but it was more towards the end. This was the first flat out dominant from start to finish.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, like it was a good week for y'all, but I mean, fools go. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, because you got 2 people. I still think y'all are the last place team, and it's not close. You still got Detroit and Green Bay, who look, what they are. I still think Detroit is the number 1 team in the conference. I understand that the Vikings are unbeaten. I mean, and you got them. So, I mean, y'all are still in last place, regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you look at the beginning of the year, you beat the Titans. You should.
Who are still terrible.
By 6. You'll lose to the Colts. That's probably the worst loss. But then you do beat the Rams, then you beat the Panthers, and you beat the Jaguars, all pretty convincingly. Outside the Rams, you beat them by 6. But we're going to find out here. As you mentioned, when they get into conference play, DeMornay Pierce, I don't know if you've seen the stats about how dominant the NFC North is through early part of the season.
They're the best conference in football right now, and it's not close.
They're plus 200 in points right now against all teams through the entire conference, not just the Bears. The second closest is about plus 80. So combined, like right now, the NFC North is dominating. Do you see that changing anytime soon, or do you think this is going to be an NFC North dominated year for the NFL?
I mean, you right outside of the first month. I don't think it'll be necessarily like that the entire time. Minnesota plays inside, so their numbers will be good and whatnot. Green Bay, you got to go out there and play, and then you got Detroit that's in a dome too. So I mean, their numbers will be fine. So it just depends on where they play at and whatnot. I know the outside of like the Bears home games, I know a lot of their away games are in either warm places or domes. So I don't expect it to continue to stay this high. People will get used to what you like and kind of take away certain things or whatnot. People will adapt to the changes that they made. So I don't think it'll stay that. But I mean, for it to be where it's at now, I mean that's surprising and to see that. But again, the NFL is about score and what looks good and whatnot. So it's good for that.
Yeah, and to your point, we'll see what happens as teams get more and more film on Caleb Williams, how they want to continue to attack him on defense, figure out what his real weaknesses are. So it's a bit of a bummer how good the NFC North is this year, because it feels like the Bears finally get their legs under them for the first time. Not saying they're going to be dominant, throughout the rest of the year here, but they're at least a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFC North is on fire. We talked about the Packers. Jordan Love goes out for a couple of games. They managed to keep their head above water. They don't drop all of them. I think they only dropped 1. It's just been a year where it feels like we'll really find out with this Vikings game coming up as well. They got the Lions. That's going to be a fun one to watch. But I mean, speaking of the Lions, I think that's the other one we have to tap into on Jerry Jones's birthday. Happy 87th.
I told you it was going to be the same thing. It was worse.
I didn't expect it to be that bad. I
didn't expect it to be close at all. Like I thought they would at least get 10 points maybe, but I told you Dallas struggles with physical teams. If you're a physical team, Dallas is the big bag bully until, you know, the kid turns around and swings back, or a bigger bully comes along. And I mean, it looked bad on all sides. I mean, this could be, you know, McCarthy's last year in Dallas.
I think it has to be. A lot of it too, which sucks for McCarthy, is like this team got worse. They didn't make really any moves. They let some pieces go.
But that's not on McCarthy, and
Exactly.
people know that. So I mean, the fact that you got multiple 12-win seasons, multiple, you know, conference championships, or every year you're playing, you know, you're a game away. The years that you did lose it, you're a game away from winning, you know, the conference title and whatnot. I mean, McCarthy will get picked back up somewhere if he is released, but I don't think it's his fault at all. Like, if Jerry could be on the hot seat, Jerry would be on the hot seat. It's just Jerry's Jerry, and that's not gonna fly. So it's not on them. It's not on them. The coaching part of this last week and everything like that, yes, but you know, they got obliterated. It was ugly, and it got ugly fast.
Yeah, it's not all in McCarthy, but certainly last week the coaches. I mean, you don't lose that bad unless it's a shared blame. That's players and coaches. When you lose that bad in a league full of pros, at least that's the way I see it. I don't think he's a horrible coach. I just think, you know, ownership didn't really help him out. The team got worse. They didn't make any big moves, and they were expecting better results. Like, I just don't know what they're entirely thinking. And again, you mentioned it with the physical teams. We saw that last year with Green Bay. I mean, you lose that game because Green Bay was just more physical and wanted it more, and they embarrass you in your own stadium as the number one offense in the league heading into it at that point in time as well. So, do the Cowboys figure this out at all? I mean, I'm at the point where I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs.
You know, it's funny. It's still on the table. Like I said, around that Halloween weekend, those teams that are really hitting, those are the teams that you typically see go deep into the playoff, or a team that you don't want to see in the playoffs and whatnot. So if Dallas can string things and get things back on track, you know, starting off with, you know, winning that weekend and whatnot. I mean, we've seen the Miami Dolphins win 7 straight when Brian Flores was there. That they had to win 7 straight to go to the playoffs and whatnot, and I still think they missed it.
And they fired Brian Flores after.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it can happen. Like, it's not too far off the table. It's not so far gone to where it can't get, you know, unseen or whatnot. I mean, and then the NFC. I mean, the NFC East. I mean, Washington's in lead right now, but you got Philadelphia, who's coming back healthy. You don't know, you know, what's there. You know, New York defensively is playing amazing. Their offense is just struggling. So I mean, it's. I'm not gonna say it's open, but the door isn't shut.
Yeah, and this early in the season, it's not shut for anybody. But the likelihood of it, especially like when you see what a real contender looks like, and then you go face them, and even though you're at home, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was a little bit surprised by Campbell throwing out a lot of trick plays despite being up by 21 points. I mean, he was letting all the offensive linemen get out there and try to get some offense going. And what was that to you? I mean, am I just looking too much? That looked like personal trying to dunk on you even more. They were whipping out all sorts of trick plays on the Cowboys despite being up 21.
I mean, it could be something to where you show something and people prepare for it, and you know, you give the expression, you know, you give them enough rope to hang themselves. So you see it and we got on that, and then I think you've seen we've seen it in the Bears game where he faked one side, faked another side, and hit the tight end up the middle. It could be one of those things where you're setting something up later on down the season, or to mess people up, or people won't understand or what's in it. So that's how I kind of like looked at it.
Yeah, and speaking of that play, shout out the Bears for bringing it into the arsenal. That's becoming popular. I've noticed there's more and more teams seeing that one and taking away the double fake screen pass and then just throw it over to the tight end over the middle. that's going to keep being used throughout the league.
I mean, how do you stop that? You see ball, get ball, you react to it. Like you literally have to have a linebacker just not really move or not really, I'm pretty sure Fred Warner can probably defend that. But I mean, it's not too many. Again, it's a savvy thing. You use a lot of motions to distract and get people's eyes off of where they're supposed to be or coming closer to the ball, then you go right over their head. So I mean, it's an excellent play call.
Yeah, and like I said, I think we're going to see more and more teams keep trying to sneak that in there, especially when you get into that territory. Even though when you're in that opponent territory is 40, perfect place to go ahead and dial that one up. And shout out to the Bears. Helps out when you have a great tight end, Cole Kmet. I got to say, I've never seen a tight end score 2 touchdowns and also be the long snapper for the PAT after. I mean, that's got to be the first time ever that you've had a player score the touchdown and also be the long snapper after.
Heard something?
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, it was
that's a bonus you can work into your contract.
I'll tell you what, Cole Kmet, he's gonna becoming one of the better tight ends in the league with how versatile he's becoming. I'm not going to put him up there, with Laporta and why am I blanking on the one for the 49ers right now? Kittle, Mark Andrews. But he's probably like McBride territory right now, where if he keeps getting better, he's going to be a staple tight end in the league. So shout out Cole Kmet. I mean, he's a big part of that Bears win. I'm not going to spend all time talking about the Bears. Don't worry. I did want to throw that in there because finally it was a good week.
I mean, you took most of the time talking about it, but we're it's okay.
I did. To be fair, I was talking about the tight end for the Chicago Bears. So moving off to that, I do want to talk about this Lions-Vikings game. Minnesota's actually favored in it. Where do you got for this one? Undefeated Vikings, or we did just see the Lions obliterate the Texans?
Where's it at?
I think this one's in Minnesota as well, which is partially, I think, why they're favored. Let me double check here.
I got Vikings. I got Vikings as well. Detroit's defense is good, but there isn't too many defenses out there that's messing with Minnesota or giving Minnesota problems. Detroit will have to have their hands full. The Detroit's offense will have their hands full in dealing with that. I got it being a close game. It's a divisional game. I mean, probably by a field goal. Or a touchdown. We might see this game go to overtime. I think this is a preview of something, and hopefully we don't get another one of these type of games. Well, I know we'll get it again, but hopefully later on in the playoffs, you might could see this at some point in time. So it's one of those games where people are going to be glued to the TV and kind of see what's up. And see what's going down. It's going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah, I don't expect to blow it at all by any means. And this is also the return of Hawkinson. I mean, that's going to be something that's tough for the Lions to deal with. Again, talking about the tight ends, you probably put him up there as one of the more elite tight ends in the league. Yep. And also, I mean, how big of a deal is it not having Aiden Hutchinson? Brutal injury. If you want to go see it, I discourage it. It's a pretty brutal one to look at. Unless that stuff doesn't bother you, but obviously he's going to be out for the year. I don't see him coming back after injury like that. Michigan guy, but I did like watching him, and I did like rooting for him because he was a humble guy, and he was in his rookie year, he was awesome.
He was a hard worker.
Yeah.
I think it's I go back and forth between huge and big. I think his presence definitely will be missed. With Donald being in there and everything like that, having Hutchinson in there to kind of get after and speed him up definitely helps your corners out. With him gone, now you got to rely on your corners to kind of step up, and they've been they've been handsy a lot. Mm-hmm. They've been getting a lot of PI calls, a lot of holding calls and whatnot. So they're going to have to be on their P's and Q's and really have a day. It's not going to be easy for Detroit's secondary, especially with Hutchinson gone. If you don't got nobody that, I'm not saying that they don't have anybody, but you don't have a big presence to give somebody a headache all game. That makes your job, a little bit more easy.
Yeah, and final NFL game, one that has yet to be played, Monday Night Football. We got the Bills, but they are on the road facing the New York Jets. Looking at stats, Aaron Rodgers at least 2 for 2 right now with 34 yards. But I got Bills all the way in this one. Any hope for the Jets to get the offense figured out? Because like you said, I think defense, they can compete. The defense has been fine, hasn't been the problem for them. But Rodgers just has not looked like the Rodgers they wanted out of Green Bay. It's crazy to look at Green Bay as they are feeling like the real winners out of that whole thing, even though it looked ugly to have to move on from Rodgers. They got to a point where they're just kind of sick of him. They were ready to move on, and they're not looking back right now. Meanwhile, the Jets sitting 2-3, haven't looked horrible, but the offense, you could argue, has. What do you got tonight, and what are the real problems with this Jets offense?
I got the Jets. It's a division game. A lot is going on. People are going to be pissed off. A lot of the players, you can tell, a lot by what the team says about you. A lot of players have been pouring out a lot of support for, their former head coach. Clearly, that's not something that they necessarily wanted. It blindsided everybody. So I think, with the changes of mixing it up and everything like that, people are going to be, poised to make a difference and be like, yeah, what that guy brought in these guys in here and we can play like that. Y'all just, give us some time or whatnot. And I'm not too confident in the Bills offense. Like, I understand they've been rolling or whatnot, but when it comes into big games or when you get into, quality opponents who can match up with you on the defensive side, their offense hasn't been showing up. So, I mean, whose offense is going to be a little bit more consistent is going to win tonight's game. And I think I'm taking A-Rod. I understand he hasn't been doing what he has been doing, but he's more accurate. He has a better arm. He's more experienced with stuff. He understands what people are going to be doing. He just needs his teammates to step up and make the right plays.
Yeah. And I could see it too. I mean, Josh Allen, for as great as he is, he still does have a little bit of turnover problem from time to time. Jets defense is good enough to try to have a big momentum play, possibly picking one off here. And I think the defense is good enough to hold on. Jets, I think if you score 24 points, you might be able to pull this one out. 24-27. I don't think the Bills will get to 30 plus. I just think, like you said, it's been good at times, but also it's kind of been stalling out. Very similar to like the Huskers offense, where at times they look unstoppable, and then all of a sudden they're just 3 and out, stuck in the mud. Kind of similar to what the Cowboys were.
I think the Jets, if they get back to running the football well, because they've gone away from it and just been pass happy. If they get back to running the football, I think it'll look a whole lot better. If you look back at those teams that A-Rod had in Green Bay, his running backs, Eddie Lacy, Aaron Jones and whatnot, look at what they were doing. It wasn't just A-Rod back there slicing and dicing. You had a just as big of a threat in the backfield that was, carrying and doing things and whatnot. So I think if they establish that and let that kind of eat a little bit and let him do what he do, I think they'll be fine.
And final question I got for you. Give me the team that's been the most surprising for good reasons or bad reasons so far as we are early in the season. We still got a lot left to go, but we got enough data out there to maybe be shocked by some of these teams' performances.
You want the good team or just the bad team?
You can pick either or. Which the most surprising one in your opinion?
I will go with Minnesota. I mean, it just I felt good about Donald. I knew he can play. I've seen him and whatnot in passing in camp or on other teams and whatnot. I didn't think it was just he was in the wrong situation. You get O'Connell there, and you got the defense flowing like they are and whatnot, and they're one of the 2 only undefeated teams left. I mean, you can't script that. They drafted a top 10 quarterback or whatever. He got hurt, and people were, who's to say, McCarthy would have been out there, going first with things and whatnot. So for them to have all what they got going on or whatnot, and for them to be on top of the NFC like this and handle some of the heavyweights that they've handled, I think they're easily the biggest surprise.
Yeah, I don't know. That was mine. That's for me, definitely Minnesota Vikings. But on the flip side, I'll give you the biggest surprise in a negative way. And it's crazy because I didn't think it was going to be a good season for him anyway. So to make it surprising, they had to have been really, really bad. Maybe like, wow, how could it possibly get to this point? And that is the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they went right back to poverty. I feel horrible for the fan base. Right when they got out of it, they're 1-5 right now. I think they're 0-17 on their last third down attempts. They are miserable to watch. I mean, it's just Deshaun Watson. It looks like there's leadership issues there, whether he wants to be there or not, or whether it's just an issue the guys don't believe he can get them wins. The defense did good enough to put him in position. They made some big plays against the Eagles, but they still lose that one 16-20. And 16 is actually not too bad considering how the offense has been for the Browns. Does it get any worse? Like, I think they've hit the bottom of the barrel for the Cleveland Browns.
I think it's within reaching distance. I mean, they could decide to trade him, and you take a huge hit, and for the next couple of years, you really can't do nothing. I mean, I feel like that would be like a rock bottom type thing. They're right there. They can have other things that go wrong that you'll be like, man, that's really, I thought y'all had it bad beforehand. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully, things get turned around. It's just sad to see because it looks like, people gave up or people are quitting, and you hate to see that and say that because, I mean, it's a wonderful job to have, and it's just not clicking for whatever reason. I mean, we seen what he can do with a Joe Flacco there last year, and now it's just like, I mean, this coach won, coach of the year. They were a playoff team, and it's night and day, and it's kind of sad to kind of see it, honestly.
Yep, and I mean, the problem is I'm looking at it. I mean, if they try to get rid of him, they're looking at about an insane about $175 million in dead cap. Like, they really.
Russell Wilson just broke, I don't know if his was 50 or 70. I think the Broncos cut him and let him go and broke that record. So, I mean.
This would shatter it.
Yes.
I mean, this is the bad part if you're the Browns. It's like you kind of boxed yourself in here that you have to make it work because the money, that dead cap is going to kill you if you try to move on from him. I mean, that's kind of where I'm wondering, like, does it get any worse to where, like, you really do risk it and take that nasty hit?
Nick Chubb comes back this week. So hopefully that can be a spark and kind of open things up and release things. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. That's about as good as it gets for them right now.
Yeah. Well, and I think Chubb can probably get him wins. Couple wins, just because he's good enough to where if you're Deshaun Watson, at least you can turn around and hand the ball off, and he's still – we'll see what he looks like after that brutal injury. I believe that was the same leg that get injured in Georgia. So hopefully, we don't see that he's lost some speed, but it's probably still going to take some time for him to get fully 100%. So if you're Deshaun Watson, like, yes, he's coming back. Hopefully he's 100%. He looks the same, but I'm sure it's going to take him a little bit. So again, if I'm the Browns, I'm glad I'm not the one having to pull the trigger on that. I wouldn't have gotten Baker to begin with, but I also would never suspected. I thought Watson was going to be a bad fit. This has been an abysmal fit so far. And it also just kind of feels like people on the team don't really trust him, that he's the guy to get them wins. So with Chubb coming back, hopefully, I mean, he's kind of the heart and soul of that team is what it's going to feel like. He's going to have to be because they just don't have anything going for him on offense. Getting a win over the Eagles would have been huge for him, just to get some confidence. But like I said, they lose that one as well. Sit 1-5, lose at 2016. All right, on the other side, done with NFL. We're going to talk some college football here. I'm sure you and me had the same thoughts about Ohio State. Really disappointed. Ryan Day is now lost his last 4 top 10 matchups. It's just been brutal for him. He every single time that you look at the scores too. I mean, it's literally by 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Obviously, that Oregon game could not have ended worse. If you're a Buckeye fan, you had an awesome opportunity. you give credit for lending for making some really strategic coaching moves. So we'll talk about all that next and a few other college football games. Don't Punt Hour with the morning Pierson-El. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping. Thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour, second segment here with the former Husker DeMornay Pierson-El. If you guys want to join in, just start him a text line. You can put a face to the voice using the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961 if you got Allo cable. Because like I said, we got NFL on the brick and mortar. We got the Jets. We got the Patriots. I believe it's 3-0. Last time I looked at the score, Jets were able to go ahead and get a field goal. Go ahead, DP. You got the score.
7-3 Buffalo.
All right. So Buffalo gets the first points, but first touchdown in the game anyways. They lead it 7-3, and we'll keep you updated. We got Kyle Perry up next. I'll be sure to toss out the scores with that show as well. When it comes to college football, looking at some of the games we talked about, it was a little bit of a mishmash on who was right and who was wrong. But I'll tell you one game that we'll start off with because we're both dead wrong, and I'm pretty upset about it. I don't like it when you let a Pac-12 school run into the Big Ten and now be the King Bear, because it sure as hell isn't Michigan this year. You thought it was Ohio State. Maybe it's still Penn State, but it looks like Oregon. And you give credit to Dan Lanning for how he was able to finish that game by intentionally putting 12 men on the field. We'll just take the penalty knowing like, hey, we'll play go ahead.
Did he say that?
I mean, there's no way that, I mean, it's look at how that was done. If you put in 12, you can basically make sure nothing gets over the top and it's only a short throw. And the penalty is so minor that you're going to take the penalty and allow seconds to go ahead and run off the clock. And then Ohio State panics. The quarterback decides to run it with his legs. DP, I think that was an intentional. Let's put 12 men on the field.
I don't think so. In a game like that, like you in a mere amount of seconds with everything on the line. Oh yeah, let's make this happen. We're purposely gonna do that. I doubt it. Because who's gonna attention regardless of what you want to say. If they would have got the ball out of bounds or whatnot and had 1 second left on the clock or whatever and put the field goal kicker out there, I'm pretty sure he could have probably kicked it from midfield and still make it. So you're saying they were okay with giving up 5 yards and potentially still like I find that hard to believe in that type of game. And if they did, purposely do that, I tip my cap to you. But I don't think that was definitely not done on purpose.
I mean, he didn't say anything that it was, but they didn't seem too upset about it in that key moment. It was kind of what tipped me off.
Because regardless of it, you beat Ohio State. So, I mean, you'll get a correction.
With the 12 men, like nobody seemed panicked about it. It seemed like, and like, here's just the play breakdown. So 10 seconds left. Oregon calls the timeout. Again, they did this off a timeout, which is kind of what makes me think this was intentional. They added 12 men. You just come out of a timeout and you get 12 men on the field. You snap the ball. You take the 5-yard penalty, but 6 seconds run off the clock. There's only 4 seconds left. I think it was intentional.
No.
All right, fair enough. He's going to get asked about it throughout the week, so maybe we'll actually get a definitive answer, but he's not going to tell you the truth anyways.
Exactly. I find that hard to believe.
So not genius, just lucky is your take.
I mean, right situation at the wrong time, or wrong situation at the right time.
Out of the timeout is what gets me. There's no way you call a timeout and you get 12 men out on the field. Maybe you're right. We will never.
I mean, it wasn't 12 men started on the field out there. Like, the dude ran on the field late. Because when it happened, I was like, I thought, okay. I thought more so somebody, they were down to 10. And so like I said, I find that hard to believe that at that point in time, you're going to risk the 5-yard penalty when they got probably, a top 3, top 4 kicker in the nation. And he's been money all day.
Fair enough. I don't know how much from that far back. I don't know how much 5 yards you can do.
Situational football, like that's borderline reckless.
I don't know, but if it's only a 5-yard penalty and you can ensure that no big play, I mean, we're not going to get an answer here, but I don't think it's reckless knowing it's only a 5-yard penalty. Like if you put 12 men out there and you got to stop. I mean, given like you're not going to get a down on them, but without much time left, you don't really give a damn about that. So time still runs off. Yes, you give him a down back, but again, that's not the whole point of it. I wouldn't say it's reckless. I think that makes total sense, knowing that you're only sacrificing 5. You're going to give him a down back, but the clock's still going to run. Like, even though it's a legal play for you, it's going to take time off the clock. You really just got to prevent him from getting 5 yards or more.
I get you trying to talk yourself into it. Logically speaking, from being on the other side of that, I doubt it. And like I said, I could be wrong. I don't think that was necessarily intentional or like, oh, yeah, the clock. We know that the clock is going to continue to run. I think necessarily that might have just been, something that came with it. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that was smart. Or, you know what I mean? I don't think that was 100% planned.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, if they really wanted to, they could have walked the kicker out there and attempted the kick from right there, or if it would have been incomplete or whatnot, they wouldn't have went for it on 4th down, and they would have kicked it from right then and there. So that's what I'm saying. You're giving them 5 yards closer than what you were. I don't think that was necessarily intentional. It was a gamble, and if it was, it paid off. Like I said, kudos to you, but I don't think that's something logically that, oh, yeah, we're going to give you 5. In those type of games, and with seconds matter, every yard matter or whatnot. I'm not you moving them. You're allowing them to move closer to the goal just for 6 seconds. That might have paid off. What if it would have went the wrong way? Oh yeah, that was a big mistake by us. A missing lapse. You would have for sure necessarily heard about it. So I get what you're saying. I don't think it's like that.
Fair enough. We got an unknown texter saying the coach shoved him out there on the field. I don't know if they agree with what I'm saying or you're saying, but yeah, the coach definitely said, go get out there, the 12th man. But we're not there to talk about that. Was not trying to saturate the entire segment with whether that was intentional or not, because I think we're going to go in circles. But just give me your thoughts on the game. The way Ohio State finished it, too, I know the quarterback's going to be killing himself for it. I just haven't really said about it. But
I think Ohio State might be in trouble.
What's the problem for him? The glaring problem. Like, if you had to pick one thing about that team that's going to keep having them lose games. For Alabama, as we saw once again with South Carolina, I think
their D line isn't necessarily equipped how we've seen it.
Just unable to get pressure.
The Bosas, the Chase, the Youngs, like, it's not. They got 2 D tackles that are fine and dandy, but neither one of them is Aaron Donald. So you're not going to run the ball up the middle. That's fine and dandy. But they're going to be in trouble if they can't necessarily get to the quarterback. Their offense was fine all day, putting up points or whatnot, but their defense was the glaring issue. I thought, Ohio State will come out there way more dominant, way more physical on the defensive side. And the fact that they got punched in the mouth, I don't know if they just overlooked them and think that, we don't got to necessarily give our best shot type situations. But looking at it from the defensive standpoint, I was like, man, I don't know. Like, y'all D-line isn't what I'm typically, used to seeing or whatnot. And I mean, Oregon was picking on 10. Wherever 10 went to, they were going at him. So I mean, you can hide him better with cover 2 with the safety over top, or cover or quarters with the safety over top. But 1-on-1, he was getting burnt. And I mean, that's just a bad matchup. I'm not putting everything on him, but their D line just didn't get the job done. And I think that was the biggest glare of like, okay, why is Oregon still in games like this when y'all defense is supposed to overpower or supposed to show up? That D line was just it wasn't really effective all night.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go back on everything I say about Oregon or Ohio State. Ohio State certainly got some more flags for me, and I agree they're all on the defensive side. You're also playing a really talented offense. That Oregon team, though, I will say, if Ohio State catches them in those earlier weeks, Ohio State wins, no question. But Oregon's got some things figured out. They're starting to click now. They look way more cohesive. I mean, it was a really good game. Their defense, I'm not going to say they played great. They played phenomenal because they still just barely squeaked out that win against Ohio State. Autzen Stadium, is that one of the toughest places to play now in the Big Ten? Like, where would you rank that stadium?
No.
Give me your top 5. And if Autzen makes it in.
Of hardest to play in the Big Ten?
Hardest to play in the Big Ten.
Clearly us.
Yeah, I'd go us 1.
You got the shoe. You can't have the shoe not in there. Camp Randall, Penn State.
Yep.
And then I mean from there, honestly, if you catch Purdue at a night game, like I said,
come on, we're not putting West Lafayette over Autzen. I'm not that. That's crazy.
It's not, but it's not a what makes a place tough.
Okay, so you're using the sleepy environment argument for Purdue.
I'm like, it's just like I said, if you've seen what they've done at like night games. Night games are completely different than day games. I can say the same thing about us. Day games awesome. Night games complete different animal.
Yeah.
So I mean there would be a logical. If you say that, I mean, I've never played at SC, so I can't say SC.
Well, did you see the fan base there? You got number 4 Penn State in the country, and that's how you show up.
But I mean, it's the Coliseum though. Like,
I know
it's a primetime game. Like, it's a primetime environment. Like, stars are gonna be there. So I mean, I would probably go with the Coliseum over Oregon Stadium. And I've played at Oregon Stadium. I was like, all right, this is it. It was real small.
How was the turnout when you played?
We had more. It was more red than I would say it was even, but like the whole end, you had red sections. The end zone was red. Like people were saying all hostile. You could throw Iowa Stadium in there. Iowa's fun to play at night. I still will go. The Coliseum. I think, like, I mean, that's like you say, you playing at Michigan at 12. That type. I forgot about Michigan. You could throw Michigan in there.
I'd actually put Michigan. I'll
go Michigan. Michigan will round out the last one.
Okay.
I forgot about Michigan for whatever reason because they're cheaters. But it's not. I don't think they're a top five like worst places or very hostile places to play. Like, we went out there and like, yeah, when you're doing good, you fine and dandy. But when somebody hit them in the mouth, it gets real quiet.
Yeah, and the real test is, what does it look like after a big game? Because fans get tired out. Here in Nebraska, they don't. Doesn't matter if you go from number 1 team in the country to the worst team in the country. It's going to sell out. But you do see that in other places where they get their big ranked opponent in there the next week, especially even if they win it. If they lose it, you'll really see it. But even when they win it, you'll still see kind of a bit of a dip where the excitement, like, it's hard to come back. Like, when you beat the number 1 team 3 team in the country, then you kind of go back to a team that's not ranked at all. It's hard to have that same level of excitement. That's always a test of a real good stadium. Does it look like that for the big games, the smaller games, and the mediocre games? Oregon, I'm not entirely sure, so I'm okay with putting Michigan above them.
Oregon is the only show in town, so people are going to show out. It ain't nothing out there in Oregon. Like, we got there, and I'm like, where's the university? You go up the road behind a few hills and trees, and bam, like, it just shows up. So, I mean, I would say it's a smaller Michigan State.
All right. comparing it to the woodshed. I don't hate it.
But I'm I'm meaning like the environment of like how close like they are. So you remember like when Jamal scored that touchdown and he ran like right into the stadium wall.
Yeah.
It's that close. Like it's very, very small and tiny. It's not big at all. Like you got there and I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm like, okay, all right. Oh, it's loud. This and that. I'm like, we've played louder places where things got way more hectic. So
the stadium design does look like it would be hard to have that place, even if it was packed. Just the way it's kind of designed, it looks like all that noise is able to escape pretty easily. The way they have those seating set up,
it's like I said, it's just weird. Like it's really, really little. Like it's like for you to beat Oregon, like I expected a little bit more.
All right, I never played there. You did. I'll take your word for it. Going on to these other games here. I do want to talk about Penn State USC. I was pretty confident on Penn State. I can't remember which way you leaned on this one, but they do squeak out.
I went with Penn State. They kind of shocked me a little bit too.
They didn't look great.
Yeah, they didn't, but I mean they started slow. They got it together, and they pulled out a tough win. USC shot their best shot and missed. It was one of those shots where it rolls around and you think it's going in and it rolls right out. It was a good game, but I expected better from Penn State. I don't think Penn State plays Oregon, or do they?
I'll double cheek on that. I don't think they do.
I don't think so. And if so, they might play them, closer to the Big Ten championship or something. They don't. Yeah, exactly. Like the league knew what not to do.
Yeah, let's not get Oregon those.
Knew what not to do. I mean, they went to, like I said, they went toe to toe with Ohio State. Ohio State won. Honestly, they could have won the game. Ohio State's defense just couldn't step up and get one stop.
Yeah, and you're right. It was really a tale of two halves. So USC first half, they look like they're going to be able to pull away. Very Pac-12-ish, right? They come at you early. Can they sustain it?
With most Pac-12 teams, like that's when you get a dominant, strong team that's like, all right, we might not start out as fast, but by somewhere in that third quarter, you get a real good gut shot, and from there it's over.
And that's what happened. USC 20 points in the first half, Penn State 6. Second half, Penn State, they dropped 24 to USC's 10. So, yes, USC was able to get a touchdown in that fourth quarter, but they were only able to get 3 in the third quarter. And that's when Penn State really started turning things around, and they get the win. USC, 1-3 in Big Ten play. Not too surprised by that one. Oregon, again, like I said, 3-0 in Big Ten play is kind of the big surprising one for me. Other game I want to talk about, South Carolina, Alabama. South Carolina had an opportunity. 2 big plays at the end there. I don't want to say the quarterback's fault because
I'll say it. So which quarterback had the biggest mess up? Ohio State or South Carolina?
South Carolina, because he had 2 chances. He had 2. Ohio State's more egregious with that run. But did you see the one throw for South Carolina?
You had the guy open.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
And you missed a throw. Like I don't know.
Who do you think? You got Ohio State or South Carolina's QB?
That had the bigger mess up.
Yeah.
I think you said Ohio State quarterback had the biggest messed up.
I think South Carolina, just because he had multiple.
I got Ohio State's quarterback messed up because on that timeout. Like, look, you don't have too much time. So if your first thing is not there, you either throw it away, you run it, get down, call timeout. I understand the whole situation or whatnot, but that's an error on the quarterback of management and understanding stuff. I thought he held the ball way too long. It wasn't there. Take off and go.
Fair enough, right? And again, South Carolina got him to that chance. Like they don't go for the onside kick unless he throws an absolute dot in the end zone. So, if you want to play that,
you throw that dot, you've been throwing dots and you miss an easy corner route, like, and you're right-handed rolling to the right. I understand that somebody's necessarily in your face, but like that's a layup. That's like
way off too. Wasn't even close.
And it's not like that it was close. Like you threw that out of bounds. Like you ain't even get a guy a chance.
What's what surprised me? I was like, man, who gives a damn if it's an interception? Like, throw a laser in there. Worst case scenario, it gets tipped around. Like, it's the last play of the game. The last thing you want to do is sail it. Like, even if it's not a great throw, keep it in bounds.
Last one, you just bomb it. Yeah, no. Yeah.
It was tough. Tough for South Carolina. I thought they were going to pull it off. I was like, when they got the onside kick and then the first play was a big throw, I was like, oh, here we go. And then, like I said, couple opportunities, blew them both. Yes, he got him there, but he could not finish it. It was a tough one.
Who would you say had the game of the week?
I don't want to give it to Oregon. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to give it to LSU. Beating Ole Miss. Oregon, you could argue AP poll wise, yes, they absolutely had the biggest game of the week. But I do think what LSU did was impressive. I picked them to win. Lane Kiffin and company coming down to LSU. They hold on, though. They win 29-26. I thought it was a gutsy win by LSU. And I know Ole Miss has maybe not been as good of a season as you wanted or expected it, but I still think that's a phenomenal team. And LSU's defense impressed me. They were able to not shut them down, but just keep them to 26. I thought that was a really big win for LSU and their confidence.
For sure, most definitely. I'd give it the Alabama game for sure. I thought they were on the ropes, and I thought South Carolina was going to pull it off. But I mean, the way that game necessarily wasn't over, the interception in the corner off of a cover 2. Oh my God. Do you know how hard that is?
That pick was absolutely insanity the way he was able to cover ground like that.
His responsibility was, the flat.
Yeah.
Nothing that was there, and he got back. I'm like, okay, now that type of play right there can get you. That's a draft stock riser. That situation, the quarterback didn't bat an eye. He kept things rolling for the Alabama side. And South Carolina, they didn't care. They just kept throwing haymakers. So I thought that was, the game of the week.
Yeah, it was definitely a good one. And again, you got to give credit to that quarter because you're right. I mean, he was in charge of the flat, but you can see he's looking at Milroe and he's like, oh, Milroe's not thinking flat at all. He's just keeping his eyes on him the whole time. In the speed to cover that ground. Like you said, that's a playing on Sunday type of skill right there.
Yeah.
To make that adjustment and to be that confident and be able to read the eyes of the quarterback like that.
That's different style of ball. Or they might have been in 3 and he had immediately flats and then seen it was nothing there and just got back to deep third. But that I was like, okay, I don't know if I seen a better play. Maybe, you could say that the hustle play in Texas was a good play, but it still wasn't that. Like that could have been, the nail in the coffin to beat Alabama. But Alabama, they had will and they kept fighting. So I got to give it to that game.
Yeah. Defensive play of the week for me.
For sure.
That was insane. And like you said, the game really hinged on that play. It's over. I know they still lost it, but they at least had a chance. It's over if he doesn't do that. The Alabama guy, I can't remember which receiver it was, but tough. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. He's like, where did you come from to come pick that thing off right in front of me at the very last second? Like the receiver, great route. He did nothing wrong. That's just a hell of a play by the defense. All right, we're running out of time here. Kansas State, Colorado. Deion's crew, they don't get it done. It is a close game, though. They only lose it by 3.
They don't get it done with their 2 top playmakers on the field. Like, I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked. But for them to still play that good, even with those 2 off, is Colorado a lot better than what people think, or are they a lot deeper than what people think?
Yeah, I didn't think Colorado. I thought it was going to be like a 10-point lead for. I was impressed by their ability to be physical. I mean, say what you will, they are not the same team they were when they played Nebraska. They looked a lot better. Their offense, they're able to be physical enough to move the ball, and then defense. Yes, they still gave this decent amount of points, but I thought they'd get run over. Shiloh Sanders is the only guy out there who got exposed multiple times.
He's been on for like a month. Like, give him some slack. Like, he got it bad. But you got to shake some things off. I understand what it is coming back from an injury and being thrown in there. My sophomore year came back. I dropped a punt. So, I I get it. It's tough. It's not easy, but I mean, I think they'll definitely shake back.
Yeah, and I'll say this much about Shiloh Sanders: like, if he was on our team, I'd feel good about it. Like, I think he had one of his worst games. I like our other guys, don't get me wrong, but in terms of depth, like, he's not a bad player by any means. Coming off the injury, though, a little shaky. But yeah, give credit to Kansas State. They are able to hold on to it. They keep on to the ranking. We'll see what it looks like in the AP poll. That's going to wrap it up for us. Tomorrow, we'll dive into a little bit more college football. Also want to talk Husker football, as we didn't have time to bring it up. But Brian Buschini gets a black shirt. As the defense votes for him, they wanted it done. DPE, appreciate the time as always. We'll do it again tomorrow. Kyle Perry, Uncut, up next.